Hey guys, what's up? It's Jared Veldheer here from Blindside Health, and today I want to hit a little bit on gut health and 5 things that you can do in particular to create a happy environment full of good, beneficial gut critters that are going to fuel your performance, help you live a long, happy, healthy, disease-free life, and keep you functioning on all cylinders and free from sickness, because these gut critters do a great job of keeping you healthy and your immunity high. All right, guys, number 1 on my list. Increase your polyphenol consumption. So polyphenols are these compounds in certain foods, spices, herbs that your gut buddies love. They feed on these things. They are great synergists. So not only do the beneficial gut bacteria feed on polyphenols, but these polyphenols also mitigate the overgrowth of detrimental gut bacteria and fungus. And they actually serve as kind of a double whammy. So the bacteria are able to process these polyphenols in your gut and then send those metabolites as a byproduct to your brain, and it helps improve cognition. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. You're getting smarter, your gut buddies are getting stronger. It's a win-win all around. So increased polyphenol content. I'm gonna throw a image up here somewhere. There, I'm not sure. But it's going to have a list of polyphenol-rich foods. Some of my favorites are cacao nibs, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil at that, nice and fresh. Make sure if you're picking up extra virgin olive oil, you see a pressed on date or a harvest date. If there's no dates, it's trash, don't get it. Try to get organic if you can. If you can't, that's fine. Just make sure it has a press date on it and you're good to go. Drizzle it over whatever you want and get creative. I like to mash up some avocado and put a bunch of extra virgin olive oil in, stir it around, and throw it on some toast. And you better believe it's sourdough toast done the right way. It's tasty. Getting my polyphenols in it. As far as how I use the cacao nibs, I'm sprinkling those on everything I can. My Magic Spoon cereal, which is a low-carb, high-protein cereal, I'll sprinkle that on top. I'll put it on top of oatmeal. I'll put it on top of a smoothie. There's a little smoothie hack too. If you want to make your smoothie extra thick, you can kind of go with a spoon and sprinkle all sorts of goodies on top. Cacao nibs are one of those goodies. High bush blueberries are also very high in polyphenols. You can buy dry organic blueberries right off Amazon, sprinkle those into whatever you want and start incorporating those. They're tasty, they're easy, they're clean. You don't have to worry about them going bad in the fridge because they're freeze dried. They don't have any pesticides because they're organic, and they're super tasty. They'll get your fingers extremely purple though, FYI. All right, guys, number 2 on my list of ways to improve gut health is to limit and manage your psychological stress. So stress as a whole can mean numerous things. It can be environmental, it can be psychological, it can be physical. Some of the stress is good. Some of the stress is actually good for our gut biome, but psychological stress, that is not good. Studies have shown that. I'm going to throw a study up so you guys can see. It tracked some military personnel and showed that psychological stress was indeed detrimental to their gut health. But some interesting things, some of the environmental stresses like cold exposure was good for gut health. So just kind of an interesting thing on what stress does, but we want to limit psychological stress. And one of the ways that I do that is some guided meditation. I like to use the Headspace app. It's kind of my go-to. I'll use that when I'm in the sauna, lay down, do 10 minutes there, or maybe just at the end of the day, wind down and get a 5 or 10 minute session of Headspace before I go to bed to clear my mind and get some great Z's. I'm also able to stay on top of that stress with my Whoop strap. It measures heart rate variability, which is by far the best metric to measure your central nervous system stress levels. It's just going to look at how well the sympathetic and parasympathetic branches of the nervous system are playing together. A lot of times we're stuck in this fight or flight response, which is the sympathetic nervous system, and we don't quite balance that out with the rest and digest or parasympathetic nervous system, and that can lead to a whole slew of things, and it can hurt our gut critters. So I make sure I'm monitoring my HRV, which is the metric of the 2 branches working together. If that score is good, I know I am not stressed out. I know I can cut it loose. I can do things that give a little more stress to my gut bacteria, like work out or have a longer sauna session or do some more cold exposure. Some of those good beneficial stressors, but stressors none the least. So if I'm overly psychologically stressed and that HRV is low, I want to limit some of those other stressors, and I can track that with my Whoop strap. You guys can learn about the Whoop strap. I'll throw some links in the show notes and information on this awesome piece of tech. In that way, I'm making sure that my gut bacteria aren't getting overstressed, and I got those good critters that are going to bat for me versus any kind of foreign pathogens, any kind of viruses, bacteria, whatever it is. So number 2, limit stress for a good, healthy gut microbiome. Hey guys, if you are digging these tips on how to improve your gut health, please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss any more content like this. And now let's get to number 3 on my list, which is avoid excess sugar and refined carbohydrates. The problem with a lot of sugar consumption, refined carbohydrate consumption, which are abundant in junk foods, processed food, boxed food, they're everywhere in Western diets, and they're going to promote this yeast overgrowth in our gut tract, specifically Candida, which is very common amongst a lot of people. And what this does is it grows at an alarming rate, and it kind of blocks out the good gut critters that we want to proliferate and really take hold in our gut. And they don't have space to do that if this Candida is growing out of control. And that's what happens when we have too much sugar, too much refined carbohydrate. It just creates a dysbiosis in our gut to where we do not have the proper beneficial bacteria, fungus, yeast that we need. These things are helping us, guys. Sugar, refined carbohydrates are not doing it. All right, guys, number 4 on my list of things to do to improve your gut health is to eat more prebiotic rich foods. So these prebiotic rich foods are going to have certain compounds that nourish our healthy gut bugs. They're going to create a system in which the healthy guys flourish and the bad guys dissipate, and that's what we want. I'm going to throw a list up here. You guys can read some of these things off. Some of my favorite prebiotics that are fairly easy to incorporate are onions and garlic. I like to use those whenever I'm cooking. They add great flavor and they make your gut nice and happy. Some other great prebiotic foods too that I like are sauerkraut. Make sure that it's not canned and on the shelf warm. You want the raw active sauerkraut, and you got to get that in the refrigerated section. Kimchi is also good. A lot of these fermentable foods are going to have good prebiotic fibers in them already, and then the fermentation process on top of that is going to introduce certain probiotic strains into our system. Resistant starches are also a great prebiotic food to create a healthy abundance of gut bugs. Pretty easy to incorporate too. So I like to use resistant starch powder. You can get it off Amazon. It's a makeup of potato starch, green banana powder. If you don't want the powder, if you just want to, create some kind of whole food resistant starch, cold rice is a good resistant starch. So, if you have any rice left over from the night before, that molecular structure is going to change as it's refrigerated, and it does become a resistant starch. Eat that rice cold. The following day, maybe heat up some eggs, put it on top of the rice, eat it that way, and a tasty way to get some resistant starch. Another way is to grab some green bananas, throw them in a smoothie, add a little stevia if it's a little too bitter for you. But it's a nice way to blend some natural resistant starch into your diet. One great product I've been using lately as a prebiotic is a product called Intermittent by Thorne. It has a mixture of curcuminoids, which are found in turmeric. They are great. They got a lot of polyphenols, and they do some great stuff to nourish our gut. And it also has partially hydrolyzed guar gum, and that is like prebiotic bliss for our gut critters. It tastes good. It's an orange flavor. I just mix it in 8 ounces of water and drink it. And I make sure I take this with any kind of probiotic I'm taking, because I want to feed those cultures with some fuel that is going to help them grow and stick and find a place inside my gut. These are fibers that you cannot digest in your upper digestive tract. They are digestible by the gut bugs themselves. It's pretty much like giving specific fuel to your healthy gut critters that you want to really, reward for serving you the best way possible and to grow and create the most diverse gut possible. Because when our gut is diverse and healthy and full of good bacteria, yeast, fungus, we're at our best. It's going to help prevent obesity, prevent a ton of chronic disease down the road. It's going to help arm us versus any foreign pathogens, and it's going to help us live our best life. So that's why I think having a healthy gut really is a fundamental in this whole health and wellness space. All right, guys, rounding out my list at number 5 is give your gut a break. And what I mean by that is try a little bit of intermittent fasting. Even if it's only a 12-hour fast, which is pretty easy to do. I mean, if you're done by dinner at 8 o'clock or you're done eating by 8 o'clock, you don't eat till 8 o'clock the next day. That's very simple. So the whole idea behind this intermittent fast is it allows your gut to kind of self-regulate without having a constant supply of food and dirty work to do. It's able to go through some different cleanup processes. And one of the things that it's able to do is limit the fusobacterium buildup, which fusobacteria can be a cause of colorectal cancer. And so fasting kind of helps limit those bad guys. We're all about getting these good guys in our gut because they're going to help us, they're going to defend us, they're going to take us to where we want to go. But on the flip side of that, the bad bacteria, the bad yeast, the bad fungus, they're going to hold us back. They cause disease. They hold us down. So it's a delicate balance, and there's some things that we can do to create that balance to be positive, and they're not that hard. It's just knowing. So guys, a quick recap on our 5 ways to boost gut health and get those nice healthy gut critters and keep them nice and satisfied and working for us. Go like this. Number 1, boost the amount of polyphenol-rich foods, spices, herbs you are consuming. Number 2, limit your psychological stress and maybe up a little bit of your physical or environmental stress. That stuff can be beneficial, but psychological stress is not. It's detrimental. You want to manage that. Try headspace, try meditation, take some deep breaths, and get it right, because that is going to affect your gut bacteria. Number 3, cut out sugar and refined carbohydrates. Sugar and refined carbohydrates do a phenomenal job of recruiting bad guys in our guts. We don't want that. They're going to cause a buildup of candida or similar yeast and bacteria that are going to crowd out the good guys. So that's why we want to limit sugar and refined carbohydrates. Number 4 on my list, guys, is eat more prebiotic-rich foods. Easy to do. You can find some real flavorful things to add. Our tongue likes it, we like to eat them, and our gut guys like to digest them. So number 5, guys, is intermittent fast. And I'm not talking a huge fast, I'm just talking 12 hours. Super easy. It's going to give a little time and space to your gut for it to do the things it needs to grow beneficial cultures inside and fuel you to, be your best. Because that's what this thing's all about. That's what these videos are about, is you being at your best, being your healthiest, being your sharpest, just optimizing your total health and well-being. And you can definitely do that by taking care of your gut microbiome. These gut critters are important to us, guys. They're going to help us get to where we want to go, which is 100 years old, healthy, functional, with our family, with our friends, reflecting on the lives we've had and looking forward to the future days, because they're great and they're not riddled with pills and medications, and we're getting around good, we're scooting, we're doing everything we want to do, we're still goal-oriented, we're still crushing it in life, and that's the whole idea behind this. So take care of your gut, buddies. You guys like this video? Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you later.